Right now, you think strength is found in muscle, money, or influence. But those are only decorations, not power. True strength is invisible. It is the unshakable will that lets kings stand unafraid of losing everything. The cold resolve that allows a man to walk through fire without blinking. While most people chase comfort, the strong train themselves to endure pain. They don't hope life will be kind. They prepare for the moments when it becomes cruel. Every single day, the world is testing you. It watches for the point where you break, the bills you can't pay, the betrayal you never saw coming, the fear that keeps you awake at night. Ordinary men run from these trials. Extraordinary men use them. They don't wait for the storm to fade. They step into it and emerge sharper. Machiavelli wrote that fortune belongs to those who are disciplined, ruthless, and unafraid of sacrifice. This video isn't about motivation. It isn't about being liked. It's about forging a will so unyielding that nothing, not pain, not fear, not failure, can bend it. If you want comfort, leave now. But if you want to become untouchable, if you want to become inhumanly strong, keep watching. The first step to inhuman strength is destroying the illusion that life will be gentle to you. The world is not fair. It doesn't care if you're kind, talented, or full of potential. It's not waiting to reward you for good behavior. It's sharpening its knives. And if you're hiding inside comfort, thinking you're safe, you are already losing. Look at the people around you. They cling to routines the way a child clings to a blanket. They wake up searching for warmth, pleasure, distraction. They avoid discomfort at all costs. And that's why they break so quickly. One setback, one betrayal, one moment of real pressure, and they collapse. Most people never train themselves to suffer on purpose. That's why they collapse the moment life stops being comfortable. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He warned rulers never to grow soft within their own walls. Comfort rots the core. A leader who avoids hardship becomes weak, and weak leaders lose their crowns. The same law applies to you. If you want to become unbreakable, you must choose your suffering before life chooses it for you. Cut out every luxury that dulls your edge. Wake earlier than you want. Work longer than you think you can handle. Deny yourself the small comforts you already know are softening you. Distance yourself from the people who drain your energy and discipline. Because when you control your pain, no one can use it against you. Think of a blade being forged, heated, beaten, drowned, then shaped again. Every strike makes it stronger, sharper, deadlier. If you were that blade, how many blows would you endure before you cracked? Every hardship you face willingly is another hammer strike, another blast of fire, another step toward becoming something that cannot shatter. Don't wait for life to test you on its terms. Test yourself on yours. Seek out the struggle deliberately. When you own your pain, you own your power. And when the world finally tries to crush you, it will discover you have already been tempered like steel. A man who chooses his suffering cannot be broken. Most people, however, are prisoners inside their own heads. They're ruled by impulses they don't even notice. They talk before they think. They react before they assess. They expose their weaknesses without realizing it. Their minds are open fields where anyone can walk in and plant seeds of fear, doubt, or desire. But if you want to become unnaturally strong, you must close those gates. You must train your mind to answer to you alone, not to fear, not to comfort, and never to the pressure of the crowd. Machiavelli admired leaders who could stand in the center of chaos without trembling, men who commanded their minds the way generals command armies. Every thought was a soldier under strict discipline. Nothing influenced their judgment unless it served a purpose. Rage stayed chained until the exact moment it was needed. Compassion was kept in reserve until it became useful. Even joy was rationed, because too much of it makes a man careless. The first step toward that level of strength is awareness. Most people drift through life, reacting on instinct. They never notice when they're being manipulated. A rumor spreads, and they accept it. A threat appears, and they retreat. A temptation shines, and they reach for it without thinking. But you will learn to pause. That single pause, the moment where you refuse to react, is the birth of control. Imagine your mind as a fortress with towering stone walls. Every thought must be inspected at the gate. Is this fear real or just noise? Does this desire serve me or does it enslave me? Will this anger help me or will it expose me? If a thought fails inspection, it is turned away. With time, this discipline becomes instinctual. And once you master it, people will sense something different about you. You'll move with quiet certainty. You won't flinch at insults. You won't rush when pressured. You won't celebrate too loudly, even in victory. Because you understand, victory is never final. That calmness will make others uneasy. They will wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning. Fear grows fastest in silence. But this calm isn't about being cold, it's about being free. When your choices are no longer driven by emotion, you can't be baited or provoked. You cannot be rushed. You cannot be manipulated. Your enemies will search for your weaknesses and find nothing to hold on to. So build this mental fortress brick by brick. And in moments of stress, discipline yourself to slow down instead of speed up. In moments of pleasure, remember it's fleeting, not a throne to rest upon. In moments of fear, know that fear is merely information, not a ruler. The man who masters his mind masters his destiny. He doesn't bend to moods or circumstances. While others are swept away like leaves in a storm, he strides straight through it, head held high. That is strength far beyond muscle or wealth, because it cannot be taken from you. When your mind is a fortress, no whisper can shake you. No insult can unbalance you. No temptation can divert you. You act when you choose. You strike when you decide. And the world will see that you are no ordinary man. You are something far more formidable. Most believe strength resides in the body. They think building muscle, running more miles, or following a perfect diet will make them powerful. The truth is harsher. The body is not strength, it is a servant. Like any servant, it must obey, or it becomes the master. Look around today. People do not command their bodies. They negotiate. I'll work if I feel rested. I'll move if I'm motivated. I'll push if it's easy. They treat their flesh like a spoiled child, always bargaining, never disciplining. Then they wonder why their will feels weak. Machiavelli would call this folly. A ruler who cannot command his own household is unfit to lead a state. Similarly, a man who cannot control his body is unfit to shape his destiny. Your flesh does not decide when you move. Stop, eat, or rest you do. This does not mean obsessing over appearance. It means taking command. Vanity is weakness, wearing a mask. Men who train only to look impressive become servants to the mirror. They don't possess their strength, they borrow it from the approval of others. And when their body falters, their pride collapses with it. True command over the body isn't about shaping it for applause. It's about forging it into a weapon, one that responds instantly when summoned. Can you rise at dawn without complaint? Face hunger without whining. Keep working long after exhaustion orders you to stop. These aren't questions of fitness. These are questions of power. Your body is a tool, nothing more. And like any tool, it dulls when left unused. Push it every day, not for show, but to prove your will is stronger than your flesh. When pain arrives, welcome it as evidence that your orders are being obeyed. When fatigue insists you've done enough, answer with one more rep, one more step, one more hour. The weak train to feel good. The strong train to obey themselves. Every bead of sweat is a declaration. I control you. Every ache is confirmation. You belong to me. Not the other way around. This discipline spreads into everything you touch. A man who can't push through physical discomfort will never push through true adversity. If hunger or tiredness makes you crumble, what will happen when the stakes rise? When betrayal hits, when fortunes vanish, when enemies press in. Your body is the first battlefield, the place where you learn to conquer resistance before the world hands you real obstacles. And here is the hidden reward. Once you stop worshiping your body, you become stronger. You train not to feed ego, but to sharpen will. You learn to treat the flesh as expendable, in pursuit of your mission that makes you dangerous. To those who cling to comfort, because they know you'll do what they cannot, you'll outwork them, you'll outlast them. You'll suffer more and still keep going. Machiavelli respected men who treated their lives as tools to be used wisely, not treasures to protect at any cost. Treat your body the same way. Maintain it, sharpen it, discipline it, but never worship it. A servant placed on a pedestal becomes a tyrant, and a tyrant body creates a weakened soul. Command yourself completely. When you say move, you move. When you say endure, you endure. When you say fight, you fight. Within this obedience lies a strength, far deeper than any weight you could lift or medal you could win. It is the strength of a man whose flesh bows to his will. And when your own body fears you, everyone else will too. Weak men spend their lives trying to avoid loss. Strong men spend their lives choosing what to lose. That's the difference. Most people believe strength comes from holding on to everything: comfort, relationships, approval, security. But real strength is forged by cutting away what softens you before life does it for you. Machiavelli understood this law of power. Nothing great is ever achieved without intentional cost. Princes who tried to please everyone lost their thrones. Generals who refused to sacrifice soldiers lost entire wars. In the game of survival, sentimentality is a weakness. The man who cannot release what holds him back is already enslaved by it. Look at how most people live. They hoard comfort like treasure, terrified of discomfort. They cling to unworthy friends to avoid loneliness. They choose easy jobs to avoid risk. They hold on to bad habits because letting go would bruise their pride. And because they never choose to bleed, life eventually strips everything from them. At once, you must choose the opposite path. Treat sacrifice as a weapon you sharpen deliberately. Decide what you will burn now so you don't burn later. Let go of pleasures that dull your edge. Cut alliances that drain your strength. Walk away from paths that lead nowhere, no matter how easy they seem. 20 Every sacrifice you make on your own terms becomes an investment to deposit into your future strength. This isn't about pointless suffering. It's discipline with direction. Picture a commander discarding excess baggage before battle. The march becomes lighter. The army moves faster. Sacrifice removes weight. It steels you against the fear of losing what others believe is essential. The more you willingly release, the more dangerous you become. When others fear losing money, you've already learned to live lean. When they fear losing comfort, you've already slept on cold floors. When they fear losing friends, you've already walked alone. What can anyone use against a man who has already surrendered everything they'd try to take? Machiavelli admired rulers who valued survival over sentiment. He understood that a prince who could sacrifice comfort, even reputation, could never be cornered. Such men look ruthless, but in reality, they are free. Free from the fear of loss. Start small. Give up one indulgence each week, not forever. Just long enough to prove you own it, not the other way around. Decline one invitation you never needed. Spend one evening working instead of numbing your mind. Every act of sacrifice isn't weakness. It's proof that you're shaping yourself into something sharper than circumstance. Do not mistake this for self-punishment. You're not destroying yourself. You're sculpting yourself. Michelangelo said he created statues by chipping away anything that wasn't part of the final form. Sacrifice works the same way. You carve off weakness until only strength remains. And when you master sacrifice, you become someone people fear without you ever trying. They see a man who cannot be bought with comfort, slowed by luxury, or frozen by the fear of being alone. They see someone who will choose his mission over his emotions every single time. And that alone makes you dangerous. Because when you're willing to give up what others worship, you gain the power to take everything they believed was untouchable. The man who treats sacrifice as an ally is no longer a hostage to the world. He doesn't cling to possessions, titles, or approval. And because he clings to nothing, he cannot be controlled. He chooses what to lose, and in choosing, he wins. The strongest man isn't just the one who can take more pain or exert more willpower. The strongest man is the one who cannot be read, cannot be predicted, and cannot be cornered. When people know exactly who you are and how you react, they already know how to defeat you. Predictability is weakness dressed up as consistency. Most people reveal themselves like an open book. Their faces display every emotion. Their routines never shift. Their words leak their fears and their desires. One insult makes them erupt. One compliment makes them melt. They're machines with exposed buttons. Press the right one, and you own them to become unnervingly strong. You must remove those buttons. Machiavelli respected rulers who hid their intentions and adjusted their behavior with precision. They weren't chaotic. They were calculated. Their enemies could never tell whether they would yield or attack, forgive or annihilate. That uncertainty itself was a weapon.
Begin by concealing your emotions, not by pretending to be cheerful, but by becoming unreadable. When something angers you, don't show it. When something pleases you, don't show it. When something frightens you, especially don't show it. People fear what they cannot measure, and no one can measure a man whose face reveals nothing. Next, shift your patterns. Avoid becoming predictable in how you speak, where you go, who you trust, or how you react. Let people believe they understand you, then prove them wrong when it matters most. Uncertainty creates hesitation, and hesitant people don't attack. When you are unreadable, your strength multiplies. Competitors pause, unsure how to challenge you. Allies respect you more, because mystery makes power feel larger than life. Enemies stop plotting, because they don't know where to strike. Even betrayal loses its force when no one knows which direction you'll move. This isn't chaos for the sake of chaos. Unpredictability is not recklessness. It is control, refined to its highest form. You decide when to be generous and when to be ruthless. You choose when to advance and when to hold the line. You choose when to reveal your power and when to bury it entirely. Think of a predator in the wild. The most dangerous creature isn't the one that roars constantly. It's the one that moves in silence and strikes without warning. People fear not only strength but the unknown. If they cannot predict your next move, they will imagine it to be worse than it is. That imagination becomes part of your power. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must be both lion and fox, able to fight fiercely when needed and able to deceive when a direct fight is unwise. When you master unpredictability, you become both. You are not just strong. You are untouchable. When others expect you to beg, stand silent. When they expect forgiveness, strike. When they expect rage, smile. When they expect surrender, advance. Each time you defy expectation, you teach the world that no one truly knows you. And when no one knows you, no one can own you. The man who cannot be read cannot be broken. His strength isn't just endurance or discipline. It's the fear he inspires by being impossible to predict. And that fear shields him better than any armor ever could. You've now seen every step. Each piece of this path strips away the softness that weakens most men and replaces it with something unbreakable. Let's bring it all together. First, you learn to destroy comfort before comfort destroys you. Weak men let life test them on life's terms. Strong men test themselves first. They rise earlier than they want to, endure longer than they should, and remove every luxury that dulls their edge. Second, you learn to train your mind to rule instead of serve. Fear, doubt, and emotion are tools in the hands of their master and chains around the neck of their captive. If you don't command your thoughts, someone else eventually will. Third, you learn that your body is not a shrine for admiration. It's a weapon under your command. You don't train to look powerful. You train to ensure your flesh responds to your will without hesitation. Fourth, you learn that power grows exponentially when covered by mystery. If people cannot predict you, they cannot influence you. If they cannot read you, they fear you. A man who is both lion and fox, as Machiavelli wrote, is impossible to trap. What does all this mean? It means real strength isn't a single habit, a single workout, or a single mindset. It is a complete transformation from the inside outward. Your mind must be tempered. Your body must be disciplined. Your presence must be unreadable. Together, these create something rare, A man no one dares to challenge because he cannot be broken, controlled, or stopped. If you take these lessons seriously, you will stop chasing strength for applause. You will no longer judge yourself by what others say or think. You will become strong simply because you refuse to be anything less. And that kind of strength does not fade. The question is clear. Will you take the first step? Will you rise tomorrow and choose pain before it chooses you? Will you command your mind and body instead of letting them control you? Will you remain mysterious enough to keep your enemies cautious and your allies respectful? Most will watch this and nod, then return to the same soft routines, the same empty comforts, the same predictable habits that have always kept them weak. But you are not most people. If you've made it this far, you are already different. You already know this truth. Strength is not given. It is taken. And you take it by forging yourself in fire until nothing can bend you. The world isn't getting easier. It's becoming sharper, colder, and more hostile. That is your advantage. While others crumble, you grow harder. While others pray for rescue, you become unshakable. Temper yourself, become steel, and when life strikes, you will not break. You will cut straight through it. If this message gave you something real, something usable, then prove it. Hit like, hit subscribe, and continue forging yourself. The weak will scroll past. The strong will stay and keep sharpening their blade. Which one are you?